Hi everybody, Kimberly's here. I know a lot of people are really excited to try and get into snap tabs or key fob making and just scared on the process and not know how to finish them off, so I'm here to show you that. So what you'll need is your finished snap tabs. I just stitched up 5 of them because I have the big machine so I can do that. You'll need some kind of hooks. These lobster clasps are really popular because they rotate. You can also just get regular split rings like this one here, my doggy poo bag. I buy these on Amazon. I believe it's $10.99 for 50 of them. These have been really good for me. I haven't had any issues. You're going to need scissors, an awl or some type of hole punch. I use this thing I got from Hobby Lobby for $20 with a coupon, so I'm 40% off. You'll need a snap press. This is the professional one from KamSnaps, ZYT. I really like this one. Scissors again. I have 2 different kinds. The Westoff work really good for the non-slippery, like not glitter vinyl. These are serrated from Kai, and they work a little better if it's a slippery kind of vinyl. I'm also going to show you how to do a rivet, just for a different pace. So I have the professional snap press from KamSnaps, and the bundle I bought came with Rivets press and many different options for dies. And then you'll need the snap tabs. The top one here is called the cap. I use the regular prong because I do use chalkboard vinyl on the back of all my key fobs, and it's slightly thinner than traditional marine vinyl. And I actually have a sample sitting right here somewhere that I can show you in my little bundle. I should have had that ready. I wasn't thinking of doing that, but I remember I just put it in here last night. Here it is. This is a shopping cart design, but if you would look and see how much thicker that is than this. So this is my Punk's glitter vinyl and marine vinyl, and I had to use the long prong snaps on this because it's just too thick to get through all those layers securely. You see that? So because I use chalkboard vinyl, which I get at Joann's, I can afford to use the regular length snaps, which is good because I mistakenly bought a ton of them. Again, here's the cap with the little prong on it. Then you have the socket and the stud. Nice that they call it a socket because it's the receiving end, and the stud referring to the protruding end, which, you know, we won't go there. And here are the double cap rivets. I don't know if you can really see that very well. There's one end is got a little bit longer protruding end, and then the cap. So I'll show you how to do both of them. So the first thing that you want to do is trim away on your snap tab. And I like to try and get about 1/8 of an inch away from the stitch. And try to hold your scissors as perpendicular to the material as you can. These scissors, it's easier to, I just did not explain it well, but it's best for these scissors to let the material, twist the material, don't move the scissors, but move the material. I'm not always really good at that. I end up more often than not doing the whole swoop and moving the scissors. This material is kind of sticking to the scissors, but there are other vinyls that you'll use that will work better, and you can actually just push the vinyl into the scissors. The reason that works better is you don't get the little jaggy edges that you get when you see how I'm doing this slice and move, and sometimes you can get a little bit of a jaggy edge from doing that. Obviously it's not doing it for me now because I want to be able to show you, and it doesn't do it. There's one. I'm going to cut out 2 so you can see how that one worked with the Westoff, and then I'm going to show you how it cuts with the serrated from the Kai. Now this is not a particularly slippery vinyl, but hopefully you can even hear how it grips onto the vinyl better. And I don't know, just I like both of them, the scissors, for different purposes. It's definitely easier to get into small areas with those Westcoffs because the way the blade is designed. This is not a review on the scissors, so let's not talk anymore about that. Some tabs will have a squared off ending and some will have a round off ending. And even for me, I go back and forth depending on what I'm making with both types of endings. It gets folded to the back, so it's not a real big deal, but I think the round off edges may just not fold up as much on the back. I apologize, I keep forgetting to make sure I'm in your view on the camera here. Okay, so let me move these scissors out of the way. And we got two of them to show you. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is the snap tabs. So what I like to do, and sometimes I do put the little hole markers in here, and sometimes I don't. What I like to do, and first of all, no matter what design you do, make sure you test that you trimmed the vinyl enough that it's going to fit in your hardware, and that it's going to afford you a little bit of a space, like 1/8 inch, between the bottom of this and this to give it a little bit of room to move. And you see how that'll look on the back. And so you know you have enough space here. So I know I'm going to need to put my snap right around there. The reason I don't always stitch out the indicators is sometimes when you trim this, it's not really even. And if you do your holes first, when you fold it over, you might get something like that. Can you see that? The black is showing a little bit there. So I prefer just to fold it over. If anything, you could stitch the first stitch indicator and ignore the other. So I prefer to fold it over so I know it's even. And then I take my hole punch and I approximate where I want my snap to be. And I push. And this will get through all 4 layers. This is not the best punch in the world. And to be honest, I'm going to break down and order the one from Tandy Leather because it's more powerful. See how it doesn't always get through that one on the back. But you can just push it through. So there you go. So now you take your cap on the front. Your caps always go on the front. And if you're not using a hole punch and you just have an awl to use, what you want to do next is you go around to the back and really push that vinyl into the cap really tight. You don't really need to do that if you have a hole punch, but if you don't have a hole punch, you do. So now you put your socket on there, see that? And then line the cap in the grooved edge of your press. Hold it in place. And then, oops, of course, when I'm trying to display this to you, it will mess up on me. Sorry about that. Retry. It's hard to make sure I am showing you guys in the camera as well as to do the actual deed here, because I just have my iPhone to work with. Okay, so you won't have this difficulty. I'm just doing it, having it because I'm trying to show you. Okay, so you get that in there, and then I like to just lightly hold it in place and then really get my hands on the grips and press. And this one is actually really easy to press. It's often a good idea to pivot it 90 degrees and press it again. I don't find I always have to do that with this particular hand press, but with my old one, I definitely had to. Now again, you're going to push that in there if you're not using a hole punch. And now you want your stud, and we're going to do the same thing. Put it inside there. Hold it in place and press again. All right. And then I always test these. I made hundreds of them last year for a craft fair, and a whole bunch of them are failing. and I had to go back over and redo all of them. And usually you can repress them with no issue. And the kids like the snap. I don't know what to tell you. Some people wonder why we do the snaps, but if you're marketing to kids, they like the snaps. So there you go. That's how you do that. Now I'm going to try and quickly swap out the die and show you how to do a rivet. So for this, you just loosen the screw. You take out this one here unscrews. Put this one in here. See how it's rounded and just sits in there. And you might have to loosen the screw more. And then you can just leave it sit in there by gravity or tighten the screw back up. Put the top receiving in there. And there may be instructions on which way you do the rivet with the cap on the top and or vice versa. I don't actually know which way is which. This, I don't want to fuss around with changing my wheel. You have to loosen this and then move it around. I actually have a crocodile as well, so I'm just going to use the 3/16 hole there to make my holes for the rivets. That is the difference with the rivets and the KamSnaps. KamSnaps, you can just make a hole to fit the prong with your awl, but with this you actually do need to make whatever size rivets these are, which I believe are 3/16 or 8mm, which is close to 3/16. You do have to make those a hole for them. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert. See if I can do this in one shot. It's kind of hard to center this. Insert it. Again, you want to test with your hardware. Insert it and try and center it. And this crocodile, if you can afford it, is actually really nice. It's very powerful. There you go. So I made the holes. Now we're going to put our rivet in here. Now you have to remember and put your hardware, because once you close this, you can't open it again. And then you're going to put the cap on it. And it actually snaps into place just a little bit. Can you hear that? Did you hear that? But that's not tight enough. You can't leave it like that. So, and I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm actually not really great at doing rivets yet, and I somehow seem to smash them too much. But anyway, it's just like the snaps. You would line it up in the base there, and then you bring your cap down and push. And you see, I'm just not great at it yet, or maybe it's because the press I'm using, but I don't know if you can see it, it leaves a little dent around the edges. But this is a real nice look, especially if you're marketing adults who aren't going to want to sit and play with their snap all day. This is a really nice look. I might actually use this for the rest of these. And you can get different color rivets. I ordered some rivets from Emmeline bags to make bags with, and they even have square-shaped rivets. So it's another option for you, but the rivet is permanent. It's not coming undone. So you don't have to worry about your snaps coming and failing when you're doing craft shows. Definitely something to consider. I don't think you can get multicolored rivets, which is the issue, or the cute Batman shaped or engraved rivets like we can go with the KamSnaps. But there you go, people. Hope this has been helpful. If you like my videos, go ahead and subscribe. I won't be posting them very frequently, but I will try to post some how-tos here and there. And also you can give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Thanks, everyone.